Okay, so story time about how my sisters were dating the same guy. This sounds like that one TV show called Sister Wives. Do you guys remember that at all? Yeah, that's what this reminds me of. So a little background information. I was a junior. Now, when this all went down, I was about 17 years old, but I literally remember it like it was yesterday because of how much of an impact it left on my family and how traumatic it was. My sisters and I all really had a great relationship. I was the youngest. My one sister, Millie, was 24 years old and she was the oldest. She was smart and super pretty, but for some reason had major self-confidence issues. I really don't know why, but you know. My other sister, Lisa, she was the definition of a blonde. Super pretty, no brains. Hate to say that about my sister, but it was true. Still is. I don't know what it was, but all their lives they felt like they had been pinned against each other. Like they acted that like life in general was a competition between both of them. I don't know why. That's how it's always been. They would always steal each other's clothes, makeup, shoes, anything they could. Like if a clothing article looked better on Millie, Lisa would steal it. And yeah, that's just how they were. Quick little interjection here. If my makeup looks weird, it's because I'm not putting it on my hairline because I don't want to have to wash my hair tonight. So summer's almost here and it seems like it might be time for Millie to move out. Lisa has another year until she has to move out, my parents said. Fast forward, it's time for Millie to get the hell out of my parents' house. So my dad hires some movers. No big deal, right? You know, he just hires movers like a normal person would do, right? Wrong. Not only did my dad get movers, but he got the best looking ones to do the job. He should have known probably not to do that considering he had a house full of 3 girls. But as we've learned being on this planet for a very long time, men don't think. To be honest, I should just blame my dad for this whole situation. Just kidding, I'm not gonna do that. Anyways, yeah, they were super hot, right? Like even my mom was like, well, this caused my sisters to go into a panic mode like little psychopaths. Like, I kid you not, both of them went upstairs, they got changed into some skimpy outfit, they both did their makeup in a span of like 10 minutes. The whole time my sisters spent more time hitting on these guys, especially this one, instead of helping move or anything like that. And they both wanted this one guy who was really hot, so it was just like a shit show. And for some reason, like desperate attention-seeking people, they spent that night crying, comparing why their lives were worse than each other's. I don't know why the hell they did this. I figured what I pretty much got out of this is if whoever's life was sadder meant that they could have the guy, who we're gonna call Adam. I don't know what the end result of that ended up being, but I thought it had been Lisa because I saw her going out with him the one day. And then I was really confused because a few days after he had came and picked up Millie. This had me very confused. It felt like I was on an episode of Sister Wives. Very, 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 very confusing. So eventually I go and decide to collect a little bit of information about what's going on. I decide to go and talk to my sisters individually. After talking to both of them, I found out that they both get 3 dates with this guy, and whoever he likes more can have him. That is like the epitome of being desperate. It was, I can't deal. I can't. Well, fast forward, summertime is over, school is about to start back up, and it seemed as if this year was going to be a good year for everybody. Then I kid you not, a day after school starts, my family and I find out that Millie is pregnant. This is why we can't have nice things. So she decides to keep it and she says, this baby's a blessing even though the father and I didn't work out. I'm like, okay girl, if that's what you call it, touch you. She said that she knew in her heart that this is what she wanted. So you know what? I tried to be happy for her. I was like, okay sis, you know, if that's what you want, period. That being said though, her and Adam were over and she had no plans of them getting back together or anything. Which is kind of understandable considering that, he was now screwing my sister Lisa. So eventually she says that she just wants to contact him and let him know that she's pregnant, and she wanted to let him know how the baby was doing. Because apparently she had been pregnant for a while, she just didn't tell anybody. But then, you'll never guess what happened. Literally, as soon as she is pulling out the phone to call him while our whole family is sitting at the table, she gets a call from him. At this point, we're all super confused on how he even knows in the first place. He was like, you need to get rid of that baby. This isn't fair to me. Like, I can't raise 2 kids. And we're all like, whoa, 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 whoa. First of all, how do you know about this? Second of all, what do you mean raise 2 kids? Well, then she tells him that she's not getting rid of it and she expects nothing from him. But then she also goes, what do you mean another kid? He said, yeah, your sister's pregnant too. Oh, yep. Lisa is pregnant too. Wow, my life should be like a soap opera at this point, literally. But then he also says Lisa's known that she's pregnant for 2 months. Like, she knew she was pregnant. So at this point, we're all pissed at Lisa for not telling us. We were all shook to the bone. Lisa starts to cry. She starts apologizing. Yes, Lisa is there while he's telling us this. Because we all look at Lisa like, what the fuck did he just say, bitch? Like, Maddie from Euphoria comes out of Millie. It was bad. That didn't really help the situation though. Millie did decide to get an abortion after that. She was like, fuck to the no. And Lisa was pretty much dead to her. Oh, also, Lisa and Adam were gonna get married. Yep. That was the plan. Millie and I don't really talk to Lisa as much anymore. After that happened, it was just like not a good situation. They fought about it for months. Like, out of the blue, Lisa would call Millie, be like, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, da 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 da, I'm so sorry. And then Lisa would be like, go off yourself, please, respectfully, thank you. Well, my mom was really the only one who talked to Lisa after that. But another thing, he ends up leaving Lisa and tries to hit on me. Yep, my 17-year-old self. And he ended up like getting infatuated with the situation, I feel like, of getting with my sisters. And like, we had to get a restraining order against him because he would like stalk me and stuff. So yeah, but overall it pretty much ruined our family. I mean, the only good thing that really came out of it was my nephew Parker, and he'll sometimes be over my mom's house whenever Lisa isn't there, of course.
My friend often says that Italians are emotional and impulsive. I haven't done an impulsive thing in my life. Crazy things just happen to me, you know? I was just so unprepared for my chemistry exam, and all I did was set off the fire alarm. Next thing I know, a fire truck had crashed into our school auditorium. The principal was furious and searching for the culprit, and I, the culprit, found myself running away from the school as fast as I could. I rushed straight into my empty house and up to my room to find a boy sitting on my bed. He looked exactly like me. I'm talking height, hair color, lips, down to my very eyes. He was like a boy version of me. Suddenly, he ran up to me and hugged me. I pushed him away. Who are you and what are you doing here? Sorry, the front door was open and I was just so excited to meet my twin sister for the first time. Twin what? Falla finita. Was there no end to today's drama? The crazy events of the day ended with me finding out the greatest secret my parents had kept from me. I wasn't born into this world alone. I had a twin brother, and his name was Lucas. My parents had given him up for adoption and kept me. His millionaire father barely paid attention to him now. He was far too busy, and that led Lucas to seek out his real parents. After telling him what happened at school, he suggested something that really caught my interest. Why don't we switch places for a few days? You could enjoy my mansion and posh high school while I get to see what it's like to live with my real parents. And my Italian blood quickly did its thing, and before I knew what I was saying, I yelled, "Deal!" I didn't want to waste another second. I just wanted to experience a day at school without getting bullied. We went out and bought wigs, and then I was off to take over my twin brother's life and move into his mansion. I just went crazy the first day of the switch, eating everything I could see in the pantry and playing all of Lucas's amazing video games. No one was at home except for his many servants. I called Lucas to check in on him, and he sounded so happy with my parents. Mama's cooking is the best, and I had so much fun watching basketball with Papa today. How about you? I told him that I was doing just fine. I hope you'll really enjoy my life, sorella. After meeting his best friend Jeff, I was sure I would. There was just something about him that was so dreamy. He radiated pure confidence and charisma. Too bad I was here as a boy. There was nothing I could do but look. Or so I thought. Turns out Lucas and Jeff were much closer friends than I knew. One day, he just barged into my room without even knocking. And worse, he immediately jumped into my bed as if he owned it. Wake up, princess. It's time for your morning tea. What did he just call me? He was grinning from ear to ear. And then it hit me. I was still in my girly pink pajamas. Could I just disappear right now? I immediately cleared my throat, and in a deeper voice I said, I'm just man enough to wear pink. Dude, I know, it's cool. He gave me a fist bump and a wink, and I responded in the most awkward way. gosh, I was so bad at this. My crush on Jeff was interfering with my acting. He was so hilarious and attractive, it made my girly side come out. Once I almost giggled. How was I ever going to hide my secret with this gorgeous boy always hovering around me? Little did I know that it was about to get much worse. Jeff walked up to me one day and asked me if I was up for the date. I nearly fainted. Date? Yeah, with our girlfriends. Wait, a girl? What? Apparently there were things Lucas hadn't given me a heads up about. Like his girlfriend of 6 months? I called him after school to ask how he'd forgotten this minor detail. He answered the call, but none of my questions. He spoke in a squeaky voice and pretended to be me, Andrea, throughout. My parents were nearby, and he had to keep his act up. The pazzo. Next thing I knew, I was going on a couples trip with Lucas's girlfriend Danielle, Jeff, and his girlfriend Courtney. We were driving to a resort owned by Jeff's dad to chill there for the night. That car ride turned out to be one of the most difficult and awkward experiences of my life. Danielle, my girlfriend, was super into me. She was literally clinging onto me like a snake and was breathing down my neck the whole ride. Oh, babe, I hadn't seen you for 23 hours, 16 minutes, and 10 seconds, and I was missing you like crazy. She tried to kiss me, but I turned my face away from her and said, wow, I bet you're good at math. Oh my God, you're so funny. She was all over me, literally laughing at every word I said, and I just wanted to disappear between the car seats. I struck up a conversation with Courtney to avoid my own girlfriend, but I guess it was a bad idea because Danielle started crying hysterically. Oh my God, ladies. I met Jeff's eyes in the rearview mirror. I gave him a help me look, but he just grinned at me. You're such a flirt, Courtney. Stop talking to my boyfriend. What's your problem? My problem is your existence. Before they could kill each other, Jeff turned around to tell them to shut up. And then he suddenly swerved sharply to avoid an oncoming truck. The whole car spun out of control and we all screamed, terrified. The car came to a halt on the hillside and one of the wheels was stuck in a pothole. We jumped out and tried to push it out of the hole, but that wasn't going to happen. And we were miles away from the city. We were stranded in the middle of nowhere. I found an inn nearby that had decent ratings online. We began to walk there when Courtney and Jeff began to fight. It was her car that had been wrecked. I was tired of their bickering, so I moved away from them, but then Danielle caught up with me. What have I done, Lucas? Am I not pretty enough? Don't you like my new hair? Wait, what did her hair look like before? I tried my best to hide my annoyance and forced a sweet smile on my face. You're the prettiest woman alive, mia bella, and you deserve everything. I love you. I almost threw up at my words. I hadn't expected that acting like Lucas was going to be this tough. As soon as we reached the inn, I rushed to the bathroom to take a breather. While looking at myself in the mirror, I was surprised to see Courtney behind me grinning. I turned to her. What are you doing here? She stepped closer to me and answered, No, Lucas. What are you doing here? This bathroom is for females. Oh, shoot. Was there no end to this? I was about to rush out when she suddenly blocked my way. We had such an amazing conversation in the car back there, Lucas. I love Jeff, but I don't think I've ever had as much fun with him. Wait, what? Before I knew it, Courtney grabbed my face and kissed me right on the lips. Holy cow, I was kissing a girl. At that moment, Danielle came in and saw us. There was a look of horror on her face as she screamed at the top of her lungs. She was ready to attack Courtney, but Jeff came in time to stop her. Danielle screamed at Jeff, Your stupid girlfriend kissed my boyfriend! Courtney started crying as she hugged Jeff. Babe, I didn't do anything wrong. Lucas followed me in here and kissed me. You know what? I'm so done with you. We're over. Courtney just rolled her eyes. Fine, whatever. Jeff ignored her and turned to me with a furious look on his face, and my heart sank because I had betrayed him. The pretty messed up situation was interrupted when the innkeeper came in to tell us that she had prepared 2 rooms for us. At that moment, I wanted to hug her so bad for being a lifesaver. Thankfully, the woman was very old-fashioned. She wouldn't let teenagers bunk together under any circumstances, so Jeff and I had to share a room, and the crazy girlfriends were in another. But then I started sweating bullets when I realized something. Jeff and I were sharing a room? A bed? How was I ever going to get through this? And he's mad at me right now. I literally just kissed his cheating girlfriend. What was he going to do to me? My heart was racing when we finally went to our room. While heading to the bed, I tripped over something and fell down on the floor. Jeff immediately came to my rescue. He looked so worried as he helped me to my feet. I swear I was about to pass out because of how close our faces were to each other. Jeff offered to take a look at my foot and took off my sock. Nail paint on your toes? Nice. I gasped and looked down at my feet. My blue nail paint was still on my toes. I couldn't think of a single excuse that would work. Before I could betray my secret, I yanked my foot away and changed the topic instead. I'm sorry about what happened earlier, dude. I know you're mad at me. Are you going to beat me up? Suddenly, he burst out laughing. Why would I beat up a girl? And in this case, Lucas' twin sister. I froze in surprise. But how did you know? Jeff said he'd figured it out easily. I acted nothing like Lucas and remembered none of his plans. Lucas had mentioned to Jeff that he had a twin sister, so he put 2 and 2 together. Besides, Lucas's eyes aren't this beautiful, and I've never felt attracted to that idiot's smile. My whole face was red now. You're attracted to me? He just smiled at me and continued to bandage my foot. When he was done, he got up and said, wildly attracted. I kid you not, I nearly fainted. I finally opened up and told him the whole truth. I was a girl. Oh, it felt so good to say that out loud. Jeff listened to me patiently as I told him everything. My life at home and at school. He took my hand. You're the most beautiful girl I've ever met, Andrea. Inside and out. Not to mention funny, too. You don't deserve to be bullied and treated like that. Oh God, he was so sweet. How could Courtney cheat on a boy like him? I blushed harder when Jeff started leaning closer and closer. Before our lips could finally touch, Danielle, my girlfriend, suddenly barged in. Jeff immediately jumped out of the bed and pretended to be doing push-ups on the floor. She said, "Babe, I couldn't sleep. That witch Courtney was snoring like a pig." I said, "How did you get in here?" "Oh, the innkeeper was sleeping, so I took the duplicate key from the reception." Ugh, she was so annoying. I forgive you for kissing Courtney, by the way. Now let's go to sleep. She climbed onto the bed and told Jeff to sleep on the mattress instead. Jeff said, "Yeah, sure," while grinning at me. He was really enjoying my misery. I was forced to cuddle Danielle to sleep just to stop her from making out with me. "Babe, can you sing me my favorite lullaby?" I was panicking now. I started singing some random nursery rhyme when Jeff came to the rescue again. In case you guys have forgotten, I'm also here. Can I have some peace? After a few more minutes of pestering me, Danielle finally fell asleep. I carefully untangled myself from her and rolled to the edge of the bed. I whispered down to Jeff, "Are you still up?" He whispered back, "How can I sleep when I can't stop thinking about you?" Oh, my heart. Go to sleep already. We need to have enough energy to deal with these crazy girls tomorrow. Sure, but I need a goodnight kiss. I rolled my eyes as I grinned in the dark. Fine, carino. I reached down to him, intending to give him a kiss on the cheek, but to my surprise, he aimed for my lips instead. My heart almost jumped out of my chest when Danielle started snoring. Jeff and I were laughing soundlessly till our stomachs hurt. It was 5 a.m. when Jeff convinced me to sneak out and leave the 2 crazy girls behind. He paid for the rooms and we waited for help at the side of the road. Luckily, we were able to find someone to give us a ride back to the city. Jeff wanted to take me out on our first official date, so I wore the cutest pink dress and let my hair down this time. As he watched me walking towards him, he put a hand on his heart. Did it hurt? Huh? What did? When you fell down from heaven? His cheesy line had my heart doing hula hoops. Finally, I was able to giggle as much as I wanted. He took my hand and kissed it. "You're even more beautiful than I thought." He took his dad's car and we continued our love story that weekend in his dad's resort. Just the 2 of us this time. Everything was perfect. Until Monday. Word of Courtney and I kissing had spread like wildfire, thanks to Danielle, who was really mad at me for leaving her behind. And now everyone thought I was trying to steal Jeff's ex-girlfriend. There was an awards event in the school's gym the next day, and Courtney was declared the best cheerleader. After delivering her speech, she suddenly called my name out and said, "I can't stop this feeling anymore, Lucas. Will you be my boyfriend?" Danielle shouted from the audience, "Girl, your desperation is hurting my toenails. Dream on." Courtney fought back. "At least I wasn't dumped by Lucas." Danielle replied, "Yet." It was so awkward that I found myself running out of the gym as everyone laughed at Courtney. I skipped school for the next 2 days to avoid those girls and chose to hang out with Jeff as my real self. I was so happy when he agreed to watch a cheesy romantic movie with me. The movie ended, and as soon as the lights were back on, we were shocked to see who was sitting in front of us. Danielle's friends! They were about to turn around, but Jeff and I were quick. I immediately buried my face in my bucket of popcorn while he pretended to sleep. Thank God they immediately left. That was close. Jeff and I continued our little dates, but my love-filled haze of happiness didn't last long. I was heading to school one day when Lucas showed up, the real Lucas. He was troubled and unhappy back in my school. He said he had no idea what I'd meant when I said I was unpopular. People were picking on him left, right, and center. "I love our parents, sis, but I'm done with your life. I'm sorry." I would have agreed to switch back happily a few days ago, but now I wasn't sure. I didn't want to leave Jeff. On the other hand, I missed being a girl freely. I missed my parents too. What was I going to do? I told Lucas to give me some time and I went to school. Little did I know that this was the calm before the storm. That night, I got invited for a Zoom conference by Courtney. Out of curiosity, I clicked on it and was surprised to see the faces of everyone at school. Did I miss something? All right, now that everyone's here, are you all ready for our interesting lesson tonight? Oh no, I didn't like where this was going. She started playing a slideshow presentation for everyone to see, and it was pictures of me and Jeff. Hundreds of them. Apparently, Courtney hadn't dealt well with my public rejection. She was suspicious of me and Jeff, and without our knowledge, she had stalked us during our last few dates. My world stopped when the pictures of me taking my wig off and kissing Jeff showed up. Everyone knew our secret now. My act was finally over, whether I liked it or not. So according to my research, Lucas's twin sister has been pretending to be him for the past few weeks, and she has had the nerves to kiss me and steal my boyfriend. I don't know which one is more disgusting. Ew. That was officially the end of it. I had to go back now. I was about to call Lucas to tell him what had happened, but he called me first and told me to come home urgently. I got really worried. Jeff drove me to my real house, and I saw my parents hugging Lucas with tears in their eyes. And Lucas wasn't dressed as a girl. What was happening? Mama? Papa? They immediately hugged me as soon as they heard my voice. Dad said, "Our bambina is back. Why didn't you tell us about this switching business?" I turned to Lucas, and while scratching his head, he told me, "Sorry, sis. Mama caught me in my underwear in the bathroom." Mom then started explaining, "We were forced to give up Lucas for adoption because we didn't have enough money to take care of you both. We never thought we'd see Lucas again, and we're so happy that we got to meet him." Lucas told us that he wanted to be close to his family, so he'd made a plan. There was more than enough room in his mansion for all of us. He talked to his foster dad already, who was totally fine with it. My parents were so over the moon. I was so excited to have a sibling and leave my horrible school. And of course, now I could stay close to Jeff. Jeff said, "Oh, by the way, dude, Danielle's no longer your girlfriend." Lucas laughed. "Great, I was wondering how I was going to break up with her. Seriously, those girls are the worst." The boys did a fist bump in front of me. Jeff then turned to me with a wink. "That's how it's done, babe." I just answered him with the girliest giggle ever. Amore mio.
My sister and I grew up together but aren't very close. It really wasn't from any drama, we didn't have a big fight to cause distance, but rather just have opposite personalities and interests. If I had to describe my attitude towards my sister, it would be apathetic love. Like, she's my sister, so I want her to be healthy and happy, but we just, unfortunately, don't hang out, call to chat, etc. She recently received an opportunity to interview for a job near our hometown and reached out to see if she could stay with me for a week. My mother was ecstatic that my sister might be coming home finally. She moved across the country right after college and hasn't been back in almost 10 years, except for Christmas. She spends Thanksgiving with her in-laws, or the one-off birthday, business trip, vacation. I was more than happy to open my home up, thinking we could maybe bond or deepen our relationship. It was all awkward, but nothing horrible until the third night. I came home from drinks with my friends around 10 p.m. and went into my kitchen for a snack and realised that almost all of my food was gone. I'm not even exaggerating. I swear 90% of my pantry was just gone. I asked my sister and she told me that she was shocked I ate anything with preservatives and unnatural and that I was poisoning my body. So she took it upon herself to throw away everything she deemed unhealthy. Guys, I'm talking about so much food, both packaged and unpackaged. Even things like spices that weren't fresh were tossed. It was like someone had robbed my kitchen. I demanded that she pay to replace everything, but she dug her heels in and said that she was doing me a favour and that the way I ate was disgusting. Her literal words. I know I'm biased, but my diet isn't even crazy. It's pretty much standard food you'd find at any grocery store. I was so upset I made her pack up and leave, and she ended up having to take a cab about 30 minutes away to stay with my parents. My mom is absolutely devastated that we're fighting and insists that I apologise in order to keep the peace because she hopes my sister will take the job and move back. I told my mom that if she wanted to lose not one but both daughters, then she'd keep pushing me to apologise for something I feel I have a right to be upset about. My dad says she's been crying every night though, and I love my mum so much I feel like a massive idiot for being stubborn about the situation. Edit, I did invite my sister out to drink with me. She declined, saying that she didn't like going to dive bars and wanted to stay sober because it was a work trip. I respected that decision, but I'd already planned to go out with my girlfriends. It was a birthday. Also, I did the math, and she threw away close to $1,000 worth of food. Not the idiot. Your sister was a self-righteous idiot and was lucky she only got kicked out. I would have been tempted to call the cops on that crap. Who visits someone's home and decides they have the right to play food police in someone else's home? Seriously, your sister needs a major reality check. And sorry, Mom, but one of your daughters is an idiot, and it isn't OP, but if you try to force OP to apologise, then you are an idiot too. But OP, your parents are telling you that they care more about the sister who moved away than the one who stayed. Do with that what you will, OP. Spices can be hard to find and expensive depending on your tastes, and the food alone would cost hundreds of dollars. Get that money back. I'd consider taking it to small claims court. This is a hill I would die on. I can't imagine suddenly paying to replace all my food, spices included. Never mind the wastefulness of tossing perfectly good food that could have been donated to a charity pantry. Your parents' anger is misplaced. The idea that you're being asked to apologize is mind-boggling. Suspicious, like maybe she hid the food in her car, maybe she's struggling silently. Has she thrown away your parents' food also, or was this just a special treat for you alone? No, I asked my dad and she hasn't even mentioned anything about their diet. Are they honestly 100% worse than me? I seriously don't know why my sister felt compelled to do that to me, and it's left me baffled, outraged, and kind of hurt. Not that it would make it okay, but I'm also a healthy young adult, so it's not like an intervention was needed. So my husband, 32, and I, female 24, are expecting our first baby together. I'm 7 months in. My in-laws are lovely people. My mother-in-law had some not-so-major fights with her husband and has been staying with us for a few days. Her birthday was yesterday, and because of her emotional and mental state, my husband decided to throw her a surprise party and invite his siblings. He got everything ready, and I was home alone when the cake arrived from the bakery. For info, the cake was big and had my mother-in-law's favourite flavour, strawberry. I asked my husband for some snacks I was craving really badly, but he didn't get them. To be honest, I got a bit tempted whenever I looked at the cake and decided to cut a small piece of it. I don't think it was a big deal till my husband saw it and flipped out, asking why I ruined the cake and cut a piece of it. I said I was sorry but was craving something sweet. He said that was supposed to be his mother's birthday cake, and I embarrassed him by taking a piece of it instead of waiting till the party in just a few hours. I said he should have been the one to handle it if he didn't think I was up to the task, but he went off saying he couldn't believe how childish I was, with zero impulse control, to be blaming him instead of checking myself and not be unsupportive. This upset me because there was a ton of other stuff he asked me to do and I did it. He kept arguing, saying I just cost him the price of the cake and an utter embarrassment when his mom sees that I ate from her cake. I looked at him and told him that he overreacted over a piece of cake and asked if a piece of cake was more important than his son, and that I was sure his mom would understand that I took my piece of cake in advance because I really couldn't help myself. Still, he said this wasn't about me, and I have to just admit I messed up and ruined his work, then went upstairs. I refused to come out of the room to celebrate after he told me to stay there, and I explained to his mum what happened, and she didn't say anything, though I noticed she was bothered. He keeps telling me to apologise. Otherwise, he won't speak to me, nor acknowledge my presence in the house. Am I the idiot? Stop trying to manipulate him. Your unborn son did not want the cake. You did. You know good, and well, if someone cut a piece of your birthday cake before you even got a chance to see it, you would have a fit. You are the idiot, OP. You owe your husband and mother-in-law an apology. For real, that line bothered me the most as it was such a stretch and 100% manipulative. Also, is OP a toddler who just can't control themselves around a birthday cake and doesn't understand how bad of etiquette it is to take a piece before the person celebrating their birthday even gets to see it? OP owes some apologies. Honey, you're tripping if you think you're not the idiot here. Are you really trying to make it sound like this is a life or death situation, and if you didn't eat that cake, then you would starve, thus bringing harm to your baby? Lady, no. Apologise and be done with this. Your husband is absolutely right. You lack impulse control, and you not only embarrass him, but you also embarrassed yourself. I'm so tired of pregnant women blaming their lack of control on being pregnant and cravings. I just had a baby. I know cravings can be intense, but it's not an excuse to be an idiot. If your craving is that strong, be an adult and go get your own damn food. Lord. I, 44 female, have 6 children. I left my husband 7 years ago as he was very abusive towards the children and me. I have 4 sons and 2 daughters. My eldest daughter, 23, left home 1.5 years ago because she said I favoured the boys over girls by making them do more chores, etc. Still, in my culture and religion, the girls are supposed to cook and clean, and the boys go out to work, and the boys do their fair share of housework, and both my daughters work, but as they are girls, they are expected to do more. Around 7 months ago, I got into a fight with my youngest daughter, 21, the night before she was going to an amusement park with her friends, and I said she wasn't allowed to go. She ended up going anyway, and I rang her and her friends and told her to come back home, but she didn't. She came home at 11 p.m, which was very late, so I locked her out of the house for a few minutes. When I opened the door, she was gone, and my sons tried contacting her, but she wouldn't tell anyone where she was. We found out she was dating this white guy 14 years older than her, and she was lying to everyone about it. She would say she had to go into the office for work, but would be spending her time working from home at his place. Dating is not allowed in my religion, so this was a huge deal. When she returned home, her older brothers and I talked with her and told her to cut contact with the guy completely and swear on our holy book to never speak to him again. She refused, so we took away everything from her, including her phone, bank cards, passport, as we thought she would run away with him. She ended up barricading herself in her room for 3 days. She had an old phone that we thought she was using to speak to him, so when she went to the bathroom, I looked for it but I couldn't find it, so I took her charger instead. When she realised it, she stormed into my room and harassed me and started screaming at me, threatening she'd call the police if I didn't give her her property back. I refused and called for my son, 26, to help me, but they both ended up getting into a fight. The police were called after and she left. She's been staying at the guy's house and came a couple of days later to collect her things. She's blocked me on everything and I haven't spoken to her since. She speaks to her brother, 22, often and asks to see my youngest son, tween, but I refuse. She put me through a living nightmare and put shame on the family, and she has no right to have a relationship with him anymore. She also asked for his phone number through my son, 22, but I refused again. She went on a rant to her brother, 22, about how I'm the idiot for using her brother against her and how crappy he was for taking my side, but she doesn't have a right after everything she's done, and my youngest son is better off without her. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. The way you treat your girls versus boys unequally and preventing them from having a relationship without you being involved. You are destroying any relationship you may have with her or that she'll have with her siblings. It sounds like you're just as abusive towards your kids but in a different way than your husband. So yeah, you're a big-time idiot. You need therapy. You are the idiot. You drove your own daughter away and then you have the nerve to say that she put you through a living nightmare? Maybe if she had a supporting family, she wouldn't need to run away with a man 14 years older than her. She was 21, an adult, and had to be home by 11. I'm not even going to get into making your daughters do chores and work while giving your sons a pass. Now you're alienating her from her siblings and using them as a weapon against her. She drove both daughters away. The eldest's departure just wasn't as dramatic. OP, taking away your adult daughter's bank card, passport, and phone to keep her from leaving because she did not follow your rules is abuse. You cannot force your adult children to adhere to your religion. Your children likely view the world differently, so your appeal to religion or how things are supposed to be doesn't have the same effect. My 28 female parents died when I was 18 and my younger twin sisters were 11. We had no other relatives to take my sisters in. I was about to start college. Thankfully, my parents left us a very generous life insurance payout and a wealthy trust, enough to last my sisters and me through college and some years after, with appropriate housing and living expenses. I didn't take any chances with the money. I smartened up and talked things out with my parents' financial advisor to ensure we would be set. I proceeded to college and took a part-time job just in case. I knew I couldn't handle my sisters full-time and we had nobody else to go to, so I explained the situation to them with a counsellor present and enrolled them in a private boarding school. I kept tabs on them through their education. I spent as many weekends and holidays with them. I went to PTCs, as many recitals and games as I could, even helped them shop for prom dresses. I was very involved in their life. I also made sure to schedule the sessions with a therapist and receive constant updates from their guidance counsellor. My sisters ended up graduating with no trouble, and they're lovely, well-adjusted human beings both in college now. I'm now a college lecturer doing my PhD. We have a close relationship, and I'm so lucky that they've been kind and understanding throughout the years. I spent the weekend with a friend's 28 male family last weekend, and they asked me about myself, all the usual. Somewhere in the conversation I said, I raised my sisters, and my friend's sister disagreed. She said the boarding school raised them, and I shouldn't take credit for that. I disagreed and said I fulfilled the role of a parent, so yes, I raised them from age 11 onward. She said I was an idiot for pretending to be a parent, and I give real parents a bad name. The weekend went downhill after that, and I didn't feel comfortable. Friend and his parents are on my side, but the sister's now posting passive-aggressive stuff on social media. Am I the idiot? Yes, you raised them. You ensured they had their needs met, you provided a responsible adult role model, and you were actively involved for milestones. But you did it a little unconventionally because that's what was the best for the three of you to move on and succeed. Not the idiot, and don't let anyone take away from you what you accomplished. What sort of person starts this kind of fight? Your friend's sister was being nasty and judgmental. Please don't place any weight on her opinion. Even her own parents think she's out of line. She can go pound sand. You did amazing. Starting with involving the already known and trusted financial advisor right on through, you made good decisions. Some people would have delayed college and stayed home. That is another correct way to do it. So your way was already correct. Good for you and your sisters. It sounds like she expects you to have abandoned your future entirely to become a replacement mom for them, and all that would have done is set you back and potentially strain your relationship with your sisters. Instead, you made the best out of an absolutely horrific situation. Your sisters are healthy, happy, and educated. Don't let anyone take that accomplishment from you. I, female 19, and my boyfriend 25 met each other around 8 months ago, and he's the first person I've ever been with, so it's exciting. I really love being with him, and I think he's a really special person in my life. I think the only thing I don't really like about him is that he's very close to his mom. There's nothing wrong with loving your mom, but I think my boyfriend is too close with his mother. I'm fine with his visits to his mom, him giving her money, gifting her stuff, but I think sometimes he crosses the line. He would tell her about my life, and it's stuff that I don't really want other people to know. I only tell him those things because he's my boyfriend, but I wouldn't want to tell anyone else. He tells her about my financial situation, my insecurities about my body, the fact that I don't sleep early, the way I spend money, my childhood memories, and that's all that I found out until now. I would normally talk to his mom like every 2 days, and she'll casually mention something like, "You should do something about your sleep habits. Don't spend too much on XYZ. I think you should learn to cook. Your friends are bad," and the list goes on. The first time I was told something like that, I just awkwardly laughed and said, "I didn't tell you that." I told my boyfriend that he couldn't tell my stuff to his mother, or I won't really tell him anything. He would argue and then just go, "All right, I was trying to help, but I don't care." Yesterday, I was having a terrible day and had to talk to her. She told me that I should stop talking to my father because he doesn't seem like he loves me. I've had fights with him for multiple reasons that don't concern her. So I shut that crap down and said, "I'm sorry, but I've told my boyfriend's name not to tell you stuff, but he does, and I don't appreciate it." She said that I was just being extremely rude and disrespecting her. I told her that she was being extremely invasive and I didn't like that. She then says that I don't have a mother and it's perfect like that because I simply don't deserve one. This was her reply to the fact that I didn't want her to act like my mom. I simply said, "You're a horrible woman," and cut the call. She called my boyfriend, told him everything I said, and now he's angry at me. He was at work and he screamed at me on the phone. He then goes on to say that because I didn't grow up with a mom, he wanted just to make sure I get the love now, which is BS. He's with his mom and not speaking to me. Our mutual friend that I met through him doesn't think I'm wrong, but a bit of an idiot to just straight up tell his mom that she's being invasive. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He's just going to become an even worse mama's boy. Run! Take it from someone who was with a mama's boy. It only worsens and you will always be made to feel guilty if you ask for normal boundaries. Also, this age gap is worrying. You guys are in two different phases of life that can set up an unequal power dynamic. It's already being expressed now in the form of boundary pushing. Honestly, I'm not one to say to just dump a person, but this is toxic and ridiculous. You set boundaries and he ignored them multiple times and his mom gave you rude, invasive, unsolicited advice. You defended yourself and they both threw you not having a mom in your face. This isn't a healthy situation and if things don't change quickly, I recommend finding someone way more respectful. OP, you saw the red flags and you know what to do. And run. Don't walk from this relationship. I know you're excited because it's your first one, but this is only gonna get worse. He doesn't respect your wishes at all now. He won't in the future either.